Hi and welcome to the Amazing Race Recap Episode 2. So they start out in Argentina and teams Dave and Rachel, the army man and his wife, are first to leave the pit stop, and within 3 minutes Art and JJ and Brendan and Rachel also leave, and they get their clue and it tells them to go to the town square. Well, it's one of those stops where everybody gets to the same place and sits and waits all night long for the place to open, and so it's one of those catch-up places. Doesn't matter how far ahead you are, you're screwed. Anyhow, what happens is a guy comes in on a horse, he's a courier, and you're supposed to get your clue. It's a mad dash for the clues, no order to it, no first come first serve, and everybody's reaching for their clues. And the clues tell them that they have to go and do a detour, and it's either boil my water or light my fire. In boil my water, you have to build a solar kitchen and then put a kettle of water and wait for it to boil. In light my fire, you gather wood and clay by the river, put it on a donkey, haul it a mile, get your clue. Now Art and JJ were the only people who chose to do light my fire because they felt that everybody else was stupid. It was 8:30 in the morning, the sun wasn't even hot, it would be a waste of time to do this. Unfortunately for Art and JJ, the know-it-alls, they got lost going to their light my fire place. They would have done better than everybody else. They would have been right had they not gotten lost, but they're too busy slamming other teams and talking about how smart they are to actually pay attention to where they're going. So Dave and Rachel are running a great race, and they finish. Art and JJ finish. Mark and Bopper, who have done amazingly well in this episode as compared to last episode, built their solar panel, their solar kitchen in no time flat. They were third to leave. Brendan and Rachel were fourth to leave. The clue when they finished their detour was to get on a bus and go to Buenos Aires. There were 3 buses. The first 4 teams left in the first bus, second 4 team in the second, and the last 2 in the third bus. Unfortunately for the second bus load, their window blew out on their way to Buenos Aires, and the third bus passed them up. Now, we get to Buenos Aires, and they have a new task. Okay, so there's these cows, lots and lots of cows, and they're in pens, and what they had to do is take the number of cows, listen to the auctioneer, he would say a total amount of weight, and then they had to figure out the average of the cows. Rachel of Rachel and Dave was there. We'll call her Blonde Rachel, okay? Blonde Rachel was doing it, and she tried it once, didn't get it, and then Art and JJ show up. Now, these two, Art and JJ, hate Brendan and Rachel for reasons I cannot understand, except maybe they hated them on Big Brother and they're just carrying that over because they absolutely hate these two. So Art wants to work with Rachel, Blonde Rachel, and they work together and team up, and he wants to make sure that redheaded Rachel from Big Brother doesn't get any help. Rachel from Brendan and Rachel knows that this is not her strong suit, and she's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm lost. And Art and JJ and Dave and Rachel get theirs and move on. Mark and Bopper decide to work with Rachel and Brendan. They help each other figure it out. Once Mark starts helping Rachel, she calms down, and they go. They get their clue and move on. And then we have a classic Brendan Rachel moment where Brendan says she wanted to come back here and check to see if the taxi was here. I knew it wouldn't be here. Well, she starts crying. Now, here's the thing. CBS had done a promo about the world's biggest blow-up on Amazing Race, the biggest meltdown. And they showed years past blows-up. And then they showed Rachel as this promo. So I'm expecting to see a full-blown Rachel Riley lose-it meltdown. I've seen them before. I was prepared. That you call the biggest blow up ever? Are you kidding me? You have seen nothing yet. And I love Rachel, so don't be mistaking that. So they get in the car, and Brendan says, well, we worked it out. And there it was, my moment of glory for the day, the Rachel death stare. And here you go. Enjoy. Rachel gets her death stare, and they move on. Okay, so then we have the other teams racing behind, and they're at the cattle place. In first place comes Dave and Rachel, then Art and JJ, then Mark and Bobber, then Brendan and Rachel, and then the girls that were at the back of the pack move up and they come in 5th and 6th place, and it is the 4 teams that were on the second bus who are racing for last place. And what happens is the poor clowns, these guys just, they haven't had it good this race, and Mr. Clown cannot count. He cannot do math, and he was stuck there forever, and they were eliminated from the race. Now let's talk about the real stuff you want to talk about. I don't know about you, but Art and JJ are the biggest. First of all, they whined all the way through. Then they picked on Brendan and Rachel all the way through. And, you know, everybody has their moments in this race. And if you think that you're not going to see your favorite couple do something that you're like, not so great, you're wrong. But Art and JJ, I cannot wait to see those guys leave the race. They're just jerks. Don't like them. I loved Mark and Bopper this time around. I thought they were funny. They had a good time. They only speak country. We're going to Buenos Aires. And they were just a lot of fun. So here's what really gets me about Art and JJ. JJ acts like they were in second place last week and that Brendan and Rachel are just tag-alongs who are riding on their coattails. JJ, they were in second place last week. You were not. You were in second place this week. They are equals to you, and you just can't stand it, can you? All right, so here is your final people. All right, so first place, Dave and Rachel. Second place, Art and JJ. Third place, Mark and Bopper. Fourth place, Brendan and Rachel. Fifth place, Carrie and Stacy. Sixth place, Neri and Jamie. Seventh place, Vanessa and Ralph. Eighth place was the Guidos. Ninth place were the twins. And the clowns were eliminated this leg of the race. Next week ought to be fun. Let's get together and see who else I can complain about. I like the twin or the cousins, Carrie and Stacy, Brendan and Rachel, Mark and Bopper, Rachel and Dave, and you know, we haven't seen much of the twins to really form an opinion of them, but I guess next week we're going to. See you next week.